you go. Next slide. Welcome to the team. In the last 30 days, Liz Balfour, Anthony Frank, and Gabriel Silva have joined our office. So welcome to the team. We know that you guys are going to do fantastic with us. Let's talk briefly about Real Scout. Now, in the last 30 days or so, you received at least a couple of emails telling you, hey, you have an account on Real Scout, just click here to activate. If you have not done that, first thing I have to tell you, just go back to your email and type Real Scout. It's going to pop up. Just click on activate. It's perfectly safe. This is a fantastic service that you have, and you don't have to pay a penny for it. We'll cover it, okay? So Real Scout, it will allow your buyers to collaborate with you very closely, and you see exactly what they do and how they're doing it. If they change the searches, it connects to the MLS, so they will be able to see every listing that it's on your MLS. You can get very easy feedback from your customers, from your buyers, whether they send you the feedback or not. You can see it on your dashboard. I like this place, I didn't like this place. They are using artificial intelligence. So for example, if one of your buyers wants to compare, I want to see only the kitchens on these 6 listings, they will see only the kitchen. Well, I want to see only the living rooms. They can do that too. The automated listing alerts that come from Real Scout actually use natural language. So it looks a lot like it's coming from you, and it is specific to that particular alert. It's not the same message on everyone. And you get everything that comes from Real Scout to your customers is completely branded to you. Your name, your contact information, your email address, your picture, and everything else. On listing presentations, it's extremely powerful. You can show live data on the map showing, okay, Mr. Seller, this is where the activity is. This is how many buyers we have searching for properties like yours in this area. And you can do all that live, or you can create reports. Outstanding tool also for listings. You can create the reports showing the buyer demand. This is super powerful when you're sitting in front of a seller and the seller is, well, I don't know who's looking in this neighborhood. The last sale was like 6 years ago. This will show them what the actual market is right now. If you have not registered, please do that today. All you have to do, go to your email, type Real Scout on the search, and it's going to come up. The email is going to look like what's on your screen right now. It's going to say, hi, then your name. And they're going to tell you, hey, my name is such and such from Member Success at Real Scout. And it's going to have a blue button that says activate your account. If you cannot locate the email, let me know and I'll get you in touch with Real Scout. Let me know. But this is something that you want to do today. The moment that we finish this meeting, if you're in front of your computer, which you are, just look for that email and activate your account. You're going to love the service. And now I'm going to do a little bit of a live presentation. We had some conversations about Mls Advantage with the leadership, and that reminded me that some agents are still not completely aware of Mls Advantage. So I'm going to make this very short, and but I just want to highlight what Mls Advantage is and what it does. Mls Advantage is a tool provided to you by the Florida Association of Realtors. You have access to it by logging into the Florida Association of Realtors website, which is FAR.org. Or if you're with the Beaches MLS, you have a link to Mls Advantage right there on your dashboard. If you're with Miami, the same thing. You have a link to Mls Advantage on the dashboard. Now, Mls Advantage, what it does is a common pool of every MLS database in the state of Florida. So let's say that you are in Jupiter, but you have an investor that just flew from Dubai, and the investor tells you, well, I am really interested in buying a home either in the Sarasota area or in the Keys. You're going to tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have access to that MLS. You're going to send that transaction as a referral, which is fine. Or you're going to tell them, wait a minute, I can get you all the results. I can tell you right now what's active in that area, in both areas. I can do CMAs for you. I can send you reports of what's active in that area. And how do you do that? If you go to Zillow and Realtor.com, you know what you're going to get. In Zillow, you're going to get information that probably is iffy at best, because you're going to have closed listings that still show active. You're going to have expired listings that show pending. You're going to have listings that really don't have any information that's valid at all. In Realtor.com, you get something better, but that information is not going to go back to you, and you have no idea about the compensation, but attachments. MLS Advantage shows you the information that is on the MLS. It is meant for realtors only. There is no way for the public to access MLS Advantage. You see the offer of compensation. You even see the contact information for the broker of the company. And you know how important that is right now when listing agents sometimes drop the ball and you call them 17 times in 24 hours and they don't reply to your text messages, your voicemails, your emails. You have the contact, the cell number, and the email address for the broker of the agent right there on the report. And another thing, this is extremely important. MLS Advantage extends the offer of compensation of your local MLS. So if you find a buyer for a listing that you find in MLS Advantage, you're guaranteed the same compensation that is offered on the MLS, on the local MLS, to the agents in Key West or Tallahassee or Jacksonville or whatnot. Now, I am going to go live to show you what happens when you log in and how to do a very simple search. This is not going to be a full presentation on MLS Advantage. I just want to show you the basic stuff. If you would like more information on MLS Advantage after this class, after this presentation, I have a class recorded on my YouTube channel, and it's just called MLS Advantage. In 30 minutes, I'll show you all the full functionality. Let's share my browser screen. There we go. All right, fantastic. So this is the Florida Realtors website. I am sure you are all familiar with it. Once you're logged in, you have access to Phone Simplicity, MLS Advantage, Tech Helpline, and everything else. All you have to do is click once on MLS Advantage. Now the interface, although it looks radically different from Matrix and Flex and any other MLS system that you have used, it is actually very intuitive and very helpful. If you just look at the interface, it sort of makes sense. It's divided, it has a main menu, search, reports, customers, my listing, CMA, help, training, and feedback. Then you have the tabs for the searches. So you have field search, map search, save search, and whatnot. And if you scroll down, you're gonna notice that the property types, you just click and add the property type that you want. Imagine that I'm looking for example, a multifamily. Yes, you can delete, add again. The property status, the business type, if you're looking for a business, the zip code, the city, the county, the price, bedrooms, bathrooms, living square footage, lot square footage. And you can just search with that. That will be like a quick search. But if you continue to scroll down, then the search gets more involved. You can search by owner name, by the type of zoning, by the year built, by the acres on the lot. You can sell closed listings by sold date, just like you can on the local MLS. And this is what confuses most everyone. Most everyone believes, okay, that's it. Sold date is the last field that I can use, but I need more things. I need to know, for example, if there is a pool, is it pet friendly and whatnot. That's all down here. You can add features. You can add fields, just like on Matrix, when you scroll all the way down and you click add additional fields, this is exactly the same. So if you want included features, this is the one that you're going to use the most, or excluded features, or possible features, you just click on this and you're going to get another screen. And for example, with this water features, well, what happens if I click on it? Look at this. So you want something that has ocean view or ocean access or ocean frontage? You have it right here. Is it a waterfront property? Is it water view only? Does it have a Gulf frontage? All of that is available. General information, you click on it. Cats allowed, dogs allowed, pets allowed, no pets allowed. All of that information is here. So when you're using MLS Advantage, don't think that it's a limited system that has only a handful of search fields. It has every search field that you have on the MLS. I am not going to linger too much on this. You know, I like to keep my sales meetings very short and to the point. Remember, I have a full webinar in only 30 minutes. I go through every single feature of MLS Advantage. And of course, you can always contact me and I will be glad to help. Also, I almost forgot the tech helpline from Florida Realtors. They do MLS Advantage support. So if you need to call them, they will stay with you on the phone as long as needed. And MLS Advantage, just like everything that comes from Florida Realtors, has an outstanding, remarkably good help webpage in which you have video tutorials, quick how-tos, full webinars recorded, etc., etc. This is a secret weapon. It's available for every member of Florida Realtors, but trust me, most agents that work for other brokerages have no idea that they have access to this, okay? And I have seen agents, and it breaks my heart, but I have seen agents paying a lot of money just to get access to one other MLS in the state of Florida when you have access to this immediately. So MLS Advantage, somehow it's a secret, use it. It's a very powerful weapon when you have an investor, when you want to do research in a place that is not covered by your local MLS. MLS Advantage is amazing. And by the way, the reports are gorgeous. So if you just want to print reports, even for your own listings in the local MLS, you're going to notice that compared to Flex reports, which are very ugly, or Matrix report, which are almost as ugly as Flex reports, the MLS Advantage reports are absolutely gorgeous. Play with it. Outstanding system. I'm going to stop this share and we're going to go back to the slide. All right. Moving right along, this is the essential reminders part. If you've been through the essential reminders part, I apologize, but I only bring up the essential reminders that have popped up during the last 30 days. And most of these are extremely important. If you forget about this, then issues sprout up. So bear with me. Number one, for deposits, now you have the ability to add the app from FTGA and do the deposit in one shot. Outside of that, wire transfer should be your first option for deposits, for everything. Wire transfer should be your first option because it's very, very safe. If wire transfers are not possible for whatever reason, then your next choice should be a cashier's check. Cashier's check. Personal checks, basically, you should avoid them like the plague. Not because the personal check is not going to have funds. It's got nothing to do with that. What happens is that a personal check has a mandatory wait period. Yes? And it's going to be 10 days if everything is okay and the bank, it's a local bank. But if the check happens to be from an out-of-state bank, yes, then the waiting period can be 20 days. And there's nothing that we can do to accelerate the process. We're talking about federal banking regulations. It's not that I can just pick up the phone and say, hey, feds, can you accelerate this check for me? Cannot be done. So avoid all that grief by when you have a deposit, make sure that it's either done with the FTGA app or a wire transfer. Personal checks should be out of the question. Don't bring personal checks. And if you bring a personal check, you have to understand that the waiting period has nothing to do with us. We cannot accelerate that. So for example, if the money needs to be conveyed within 48 hours and you bring a personal check, well, you're gonna have to wait 8 days more than what you need. And that's a problem. I'm sure you understand that. Next reminder, the documents that are required, you have a checklist for all the documents that are required on every single transaction. A landlord side transaction is going to be different than a listing for a single family home, but you have different checklists for all of those. When the documents are required, they are required. It's not optional. It's not, well, but you know, my seller really didn't feel like signing this. We cannot proceed with the transaction. In some cases, we cannot even disburse money or pay commission if the documents are not present. And if the documents are not present, the machine grinds to a halt. The admin needs to get in touch with you. I'm going to have to get in touch with you. Emails back and forth, text message back and forth, and conversations that are repetitive, like, but my seller doesn't want to sign that. I'm sorry, but they sign a listing agreement and this is the documentation that we need. It pays for you to get all the documents signed at the same time. The habit of just having just the listing agreement signed and then a couple of days later bring the rest of the paperwork, it's a bad habit. It's a bad habit because the seller is going to say, wait a minute, I already signed the listing agreement. What's all the other stuff, right? So get it all signed at the same time. If you are with the Boca office, when you go to Form Simplicity, it's super easy. You have packages that says Boca office, seller, single family home, Boca office, landlord, annual rental. Yes. So required documents are not optional, are required. Please get them all done in one shot. Next, update your profiles. I still get emails from some of you guys, and the email, the signature is something like jimmy@aol.com. What if I am a seller? What if I'm a customer and I would like to check your website or your Facebook profile? What if I am someone who's considering listing the property with you, but I'm also talking to another 6 or 7 sales professionals from other companies? How does it look when you send an email that you have no signature whatsoever, or it just says, hey, I'm Jack, and nothing else? Update your profiles. Of course, we all have hundreds of profiles, hundreds. I understand that, okay? But the most important profiles are your email signature. Yes, you set that on your email provider, whatever your email is, doesn't matter where it is, you can do that. The MLS, marketing resource center is super important. Upload your picture in there too. Form Simplicity, I don't know if you realize that, but Form Simplicity, every time you send a message, every time you send an e-sign session, every time you send a document to be signed, it goes in the form of an email and it has a signature, right? Realtor.com, Zillow, the Facebook business page, you know what to do. So if you think that you may not have looked at your signatures or your profiles in a while, do it now. Next reminder, if you have a referral, give me 1 second. I'm gonna mute everyone again. There you go. Okay. So if you have a referral, there is a link in which you can just click and send the referral. It works beautifully. Another thing, you need to remember this. If a referral is not signed by both brokers on both ends, it is not a referral. And you don't want to find out after the transaction is done that the broker on the other end tells you, I'm sorry, this transaction is not acceptable. We are not going to pay anything for this. So when you send a referral, first, send it through the referral link that we have. We have an outstanding referral department. And any questions that you have, you can contact them. You can contact Adrian. They will help you instantly. They will pick up the phone, talk to you within an hour. And make sure that the referrals are signed by both sides. They have to be signed by both sides. Otherwise, they're not a valid referral, okay? Our relocation coordinator is Monica McBride. And if you do not have that number on your speed dial, you should. It is 954-693-0139. 954-693-0139. Also, I have the link for referrals on the email that I sent this morning. And if you don't have that email that I sent this morning, send me a little quick message and I'll send it to you. What's the next essential reminder? Mls rules. We all know that we have to follow the rules because it's the right thing. We know that we have to follow the rules because preserving the integrity of the MLS database has a direct impact on the way we do business, on the quality of information that we send to our customers. Extremely important. On top of that, because of the current situation, which is completely unprecedented, because of the lack of inventory, but the frenzy with buyers, the departments, the MLS departments for all the associations in the state of Florida are checking for every violation. They are sending warnings. In some cases, you get 1 warning. In some cases, you get 2. In some cases, they're more helpful. In some cases, they're less helpful. But trust me, they are assessing fines. So keep in mind that the MLS rules are not something that you can choose to apply when it's convenient. MLS rules have to be followed all the time in every case. When the status of a transaction changes in real life, the status of the transaction must change immediately in the MLS. If the listing is pending in real life, the listing should be pending on the MLS within minutes of you knowing that all parties have signed the documentation. When a transaction closes, should not stay pending sale on the MLS more than a few minutes. You have to, before you celebrate, you go to the MLS and you change the status to close sale and you enter the right information. And very simple things. The public remarks are for the public. Do not put any contact information in there. It doesn't belong there. If you need to put your contact information, you put it on the broker remarks. Those are only be read by your peers. The MLS departments of both associations are really scrutinizing the database closely and they are assessing fines. Keep your eye on that. Very important. Coming soon. Very simple. We do not use that status ever. We don't. If you have questions about why not, it's going to take me about 15 minutes. So call me and I'll let you know in detail. But coming soon, do not use that status on the MLS ever, ever. No, well, they told me I thought, no, do not use coming soon. If you have questions about it, let me know and I'll give you the explanation in detail. When you were not able to secure control of title, and I know that you're trying to secure control of title, but sometimes you cannot. Sometimes on the other side, you hit a brick wall and they tell you, no, title has to be done by my cousin from New Jersey, who is my drinking buddy, and I really like him. Okay, well, you surrender control of title. When you surrender control of title, you have a little bit of extra homework, which consists of, first, tell your admin when the closing is going to be, who the closing agent is, what is the closing agent contact information. Make sure that the closing agent has everything that they need. If you have to call them a couple of times a day and be repetitive, don't be shy because you are protecting the closing and you want to detect any issues way ahead of time. So call them. Do you have everything that you need? Is there anything I can do to help? Keep me posted, please. Do we still close on such and such a date? Make sure that the closing agent understands that the closing instructions come from the broker and that they need to follow only the closing instructions that come from the broker. Make emphasis on this. I know it sounds silly, but at least once or twice a month, I have some closing agency, never FTGA, of course, but I have some closing agent that says, oh, yeah, we did get your closing instructions, but such and such agent told us to do different. So we just went for the verbal instructions instead of the written closing instructions from the brokerage. Sorry. Yeah, just yesterday we had a big problem because the closing agent decided against our written closing instructions that they really didn't need to pay the homeowner association dues that were due from the seller at closing. Because the seller told them, nah, I don't think I need to pay this. Yep, that's it. So the closing happened and the homeowner association now is coming down on the buyer saying, hey, where is the dues that you should have paid last week? This type of things happen all the time. So again, when FTGA is not the closing agent, keep an eye on the transaction, every detail of the transaction, keep all the parties involved, make notes of the responses that you get, try to have your conversations in writing by email, yes? Or do a phone call and then follow up with an email so you can trace the communications and what you told them and when, okay? When FTGA is your closing agent, don't worry about it, just go take a nap. They'll take care of everything for you, okay? But when they're not the closing agent, please, like an eagle, be on top of it. Almost done. Thank you for your patience to bearing with me. Like we mentioned several times in this meeting, fraud, scams, are very common in real estate right now. Our industry is being targeted. You know, when you get a phony text message that says, hi, this is Trish, your broker. Hi, this is Justin, your broker. I'm in a meeting. Can you go buy me some gift cards? Can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, that is just one sample of the scams that we're subject to. So know that none of us ever is going to send you a text message telling you, I'm so sorry, can you buy a gift card for me? Never. We will never do that. If for whatever reason you somehow suspect that it is true, that I am in fact lost in the jungle and I am asking you to send some money to the nearest Western Union because I need to go get my passport at the embassy, you should tell me, too bad, Justin, okay? But if you suspect that this is actually true, yes, then verify the information with the numbers that you have. Go to your contact information, grab my phone number and call me and tell me, hey, Justin, is it true that you're lost in the jungle and you need money? Yeah. And this comes to when you all of a sudden you get that happy call. Somebody calls you, tells you, hi, I understand that you're a real estate agent and I have this wonderful property that I would like to sell. Can you help me? Well, your answer, of course, is going to be, of course I can help you, right? Verify that you're talking to the person that they represent to be. In Florida right now, we are seeing a flood of fraud that has to do with vacant land, okay? They tell you, hey, I own this vacant land, I'm such and such. By the time the transaction is done, you realize that you were talking to a scammer and not the actual owner of the property. So verify who are you talking to. Check tax records, ask for copies of the ID, etc., etc. If you have any doubts, if at any point you're talking to someone and a voice in the back of your mind is telling you, I don't know about this person, let us know. We will help you. COVID, although things in many fronts are getting better, other things are very alarming. And still we have record numbers of people contracting COVID. And the new variant, Omicron, is very, very scary. And it even affects people that are fully vaccinated. So when you're around the office, please, unless you are in your own office or you're completely separated from anybody else, wear a mask and just follow simple precautions. If you were using a common area, an area that somebody else is going to use after you, make sure you wipe everything with disinfectant, wipe your hands with disinfectant. When you come to the office, put the mask on, use hand sanitizer. When you leave the office, use hand sanitizer. When you get in the car, when you get out of the car, just simple precautions. By now, they're almost muscle memory for us. It's not a big sacrifice. I know that we look funny with the mask and whatnot, but please, we never know when we may be, I'm fully vaccinated, so I don't know, maybe I could be carrying the thing and not feel anything. And then I go and I give a hug to someone, and all of a sudden I get bad news a couple of days later. So please remember, COVID has not gone away. And when you are sharing a space with your colleagues, please be cautious. Use the mask, use hand sanitizer. It takes you a couple of extra seconds, but it goes a long, long way to protect the colleagues that you respect and love. And with that, happy holidays to all of you. You are wonderful. You are the best realtors in the industry. And I'm very, very proud to work with all of you. We have an amazing team. I love you all. And if any of you has any comments, this is the time because we're going to close the meeting in a few minutes.